All right, thanks for joining us today. We're taking a quick look at Rasputin. She is number 71 from the House of X set. So this Chase character has 3 traits that we're going to look at, and then we'll take a look at her dial, and we will take a look at her on the battlefield to highlight some of her powers and abilities. So her first trait is when Rasputin uses the X-Men team ability to heal another character, this turn that character's damage value becomes 4. When another character uses the X-Men team ability to heal Rasputin, this turn her attack and damage values become equal to that character's printed values. The second trait is Energy Shield Deflection Super Senses. Also, at the end of your turn, choose a side of the square Rasputin occupies until your next turn. Lines of fire that cross that side of the square are blocked. Okay, and we're going to break that down in more detail in just a minute. And then her last trait is when Rasputin clears action tokens, heal her 1 click. Okay, let's take a look at her dial real quick here. Okay, she is coming in at either 65 or 125 points. She has a 6 range. On the first 3 clicks of her 125, she has Charge, Blades, Exploit Weakness. That defense is Invincible followed by Impervious. On her top click, she's going to be an 11 movement, 11 attack, 18 defense, and 4 damage. So with that charge, that means she can move 6 and then Blades, or she can move 6 and then Exploit, depending on what you're trying to hit and how much damage you want to put out there. She also has a 6 range, so a 6 movement charge or 6 range gives her the versatility to adjust to what your opponent might have. So if you're looking at somebody that's 6 squares away and they're sitting there with the energy shield, you can charge in and attack them. Or if they're out there with combat reflexes, you might want to take the ranged attack instead. At her 65 points, you're getting 4 clicks, going with Sidestep 9 movement, 10 attack with Precision Strike, 17 defense with Invincible on that top 65 point click, and then 3 damage with Close Combat Expert. The defense, she has reducers throughout her dial, so she starts with Invincible, moves into Impervious, hits Invincible again, and then moves into Invulnerability. Her defense is 4s and 3s for 125. Those are some pretty good values. Her attacks are 10 through a 12 with 3 10s, 3 11s, and she ends out with a 12 at the end. Her movement's pretty solid throughout, and she has good range. So for even the 125 or the 65, I think both point values are good. Remember, she's going to have traded Energy Shield Deflection to give her protection at range, plus the ability to block off one side of her square. So she should be able to move in with some protection there. She has Super Senses as an additional rollout, and then the reducers throughout the dial. So let's take a look at what she does on the battlefield. Now, while we're looking at Rasputin, let's break down some of her improved movement abilities. So she has improved movement hindering, improved movement blocking, and improved movement characters. Sometimes this can cause a little bit of confusion for newer players and sometimes even veteran players on how to get the most out of those types of improved abilities. So on this type of setup, you could be having support type figures back here, and you're using your Colossal as the main attacker, and these guys are back here to perplex or to support on your Colossal. And your Colossal then provides some amount of cover for the support figures behind. Improved movement characters allows her to charge in there and get to the support pieces if she wants to take them out and then work on the Colossal. So on this type of setup, your opponent wants their Colossal out there. They want you to be dealing with that main attacker because they could be boosting them up or other things. So you might want to take out the behind the front line first and then move in to take on a weaker Colossal figure. So with improved movement characters, she can go right through. So that 6 charge, she can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and end up right back here in these rows to take out the support. Improved movement blocking is also something that sometimes trips people up. So this is a row of blocking terrain here. She has a 6 movement charge. She can charge through the blocking, but she can't stop in it currently. So she could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, pop out of that blocking terrain, and then make an attack from that square. That would then destroy the blocking terrain she moves through if she had destroy as her improved ability. On this particular character, you'll notice she just has improved movement blocking. So she can go right through these and hindering also. So she can go right through this hindering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and get right there to make her attack. This blocking then would stay intact also. Okay, let's take a closer look at her coolest trait. Well, really the healing factor is pretty cool too. But let's look at intangible and untouchable, which is energy shield deflection, super senses, and then at the end of your turn, choose a side of the square she occupies until your next turn lines of fire that cross that side of the square are blocked. So in this kind of setup, we have Rasputin over here. We have opponents on this side. It's hard to see because we have a giant Shadow King here that we're going to break down on how Colossals work in a second. But then we have Iron Man behind and the Doctor behind that. So Iron Man is back here. Okay. On this kind of setup, Rasputin can choose this side of the square, the one directly between her and Shadow King. Lines of fire that cross this then are considered blocked. That means Shadow King's outwit couldn't get there. Now, if it was just a normal type of terrain on an outdoor map, he has improved targeting over that outdoor blocking. But Rasputin's ability is different. It's any line of fire that crosses this is blocked, period. Improved targeting doesn't come into play, nothing else. So we'll use this card just to give a visual representation. So if we put that there, you can think of it that way. This is completely blocked. He can't attack her. He can't outwit. No lines of fire that go through there. Those are blocked lines of fire now. Okay. Now on a direct diagonal, if we pull him out of the way, even though this side would be blocked, Iron Man does have that direct diagonal. So the line of fire does not cross here. It crosses here. So she would be able to be targeted by Iron Man. Things like Giant Reach sometimes are confusing also. So normally the Colossal can do a close attack, 3 squares, and line of fire. Now again, that line of fire would be blocked because he has no line of fire to her. Even if you drew it from the rear square, it still crosses here. So that Giant Reach doesn't come into play either. So those types of things where you can block off a side of that square are super useful to provide just great protection, even up close. Now, another way that comes into play is it doesn't just give you fantastic protection as you move across a battlefield, but if she was here and she wants to get in close combat with Iron Man, she could charge in, do her attacks. Let's say these guys are not on the team. So if she's engaged in battle this way, she can then throw up that blocking terrain, or not blocking terrain, but she can choose this line of the square that's between her and Iron Man, so that lines of fire that cross that are blocked. It's not like blocking terrain or like a barrier or anything else that would break adjacency. It just breaks the line of fire. So if you had a character that might have like an outwit or a perplex over here, or other things that require line of fire up close, she can put up she can choose that line, and then they can't use anything that triggers off of a line of fire, but still be adjacent to her. All in all, I think Rasputin's a pretty cool character. The point values, I think, work out well. Her ability to heal when she clears is good. It should keep her alive. Plus the energy shield traded, super senses traded, and the ability to block lines of fire. Those are all the tools you need to get her into the battle, which is where you want her, up close and doing a lot of damage. But you also have that option with the 6 range of staying outside and taking some shots from there. So great versatility, good power set. Everything that's on this character I think works well together. I could see her on some X-Men theme teams, and she also has Horseman, Future, and Mystical. So some pretty good keywords. I think she'll find her way onto some teams. The point values allow you to build around her or to use her as one of your main pieces. At 125, you could have a couple main attackers and then some support around them. At 65, you can kind of use her as part of a whole team. So all in all, pretty good figure. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Check it out. If you dig what we do, go ahead and like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.